Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive? Today we're tackling AI in journalism, something I know a lot of you have been curious about.
It's definitely a hot topic.
Yeah, and we've got a great article to guide us. It's from the DX Today blog titled The Future of Reporting, Navigating the Intersection of AI and Journalism.
Sounds like a fascinating read.
Oh, it is. And it's got me thinking about how AI is going to change, well, pretty much everything about the news. We're talking uncovering stories, personalizing those news feeds, even AI writing articles.
It's already happening in some ways.
Right. Like the article talks about AI becoming this super-powered research assistant for journalists.
Oh, yeah.
It can analyze like mountains of data, way more than any human could handle, and then it can spot trends, things that we might miss completely.
It's like having a research team working around the clock, but it's all powered by algorithms.
Exactly. And that means journalists can break stories faster, right?
Definitely. Imagine AI constantly monitoring social media for breaking news.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Or digging through public databases for those investigative pieces, things that might take weeks or months for a human to do.
So it's not just about speed, though, right?
Go.
The article also dives into how AI can be used to fight back against fake news, which is, well, kind of a big deal these days.
Huge. And AI can help with fact-checking.
Like a super-powered fact-checker.
Pretty much. It can cross-reference information super fast, flagging anything that seems fishy.
Like a lie detector for the internet.
You got it. And it can even be trained to spot those deepfakes.
Wait, hold on. Deepfakes? Those videos where it looks like someone is saying or doing something they never did?
Exactly. Those things can be incredibly convincing and super dangerous.
I've seen some that are just like mind-blowing.
Right. It's getting harder and harder to tell what's real.
So how does AI even detect a deepfake? It seems like, I don't know, magic or something.
It's definitely complex, but it boils down to AI fighting AI. Deepfakes are actually made using AI, using something called machine learning. Basically, you feed a ton of images and videos of a person into this algorithm, and it learns to mimic their appearance and movements.
Okay, so then how do you catch it?
Well, you use another type of algorithm to detect the deepfake. This one looks for tiny inconsistencies in the footage. Things like unnatural blinking or lip movements, stuff a human might not even notice.
Wow, it's like a whole arms race of AI then.
Kind of, yeah. And it's happening right now, behind the scenes of everything we see online.
That's a little freaky, but also kind of cool.
Right, so AI can help us cut through the noise and figure out what's real. But this next thing is what really got me excited. Personalized news feeds.
Oh yeah, the article talked about that too. Like imagine getting your news tailored just for you.
Exactly. Think about those music recommendations you get on Spotify or Apple Music, but for news articles.
I love those.
Yeah.
My Discover weekly playlist is always spot on.
It's the same idea here. AI can analyze your reading habits, what you click on, what you share, and then use that data to deliver more of the content that you're actually interested in.
So instead of getting bombarded with a million stories I don't care about.
You get a curated feed of stuff that actually matters to you.
That sounds amazing, but what about those filter bubbles everyone's always talking about, you know, where we only get exposed to information that reinforces what we already believe?
You bring up a really important point. It's a double-edged sword. Personalized news can help you stay informed about things you care about, for sure.
Right.
But it could also limit your exposure to different viewpoints.
Yeah, you could end up in an echo chamber.
Exactly. So the question is, how do we design these systems responsibly?
That's a tough one.
It is. But the potential is there, if we can figure out how to use it wisely.
Okay, so we've got AI as the researcher, the fact checker, the personal news curator, and get this. The article even talks about AI actually writing the news.
It's already happening in some newsrooms. Organizations are using AI to generate those basic reports, especially for data-heavy stuff like, financial earnings or sports scores.
Wait, so like a robot sports commentator? Is that what we're talking about?
Not exactly a commentator, but think of it like this. AI can handle those routine tasks.
Like game summaries, box scores.
Exactly. That frees up the human journalists to dive into the more complex, in-depth stories.
So it's not like the robots are taking over journalism completely.
Not yet, anyway.
That's a relief.
Yeah.
But I did read that the Washington Post has this AI tool called Heliograph that can automatically write articles based on data. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, it's been used for all sorts of things covering local elections, even high school football games.
Wow. So are we talking about different levels of AI-generated content then?
Definitely. Right now, AI is really good at those short, data-driven pieces, like election results or stock market updates.
Makes sense.
But for those in-depth stories, the ones that require critical thinking, and ethical judgment.
And the human touch, right?
Exactly. Those still need human journalists, at least for now.
Okay, so AI is changing the role of journalists, but not necessarily replacing them altogether.
That's the key. It's about collaboration.
But what about the potential downsides? Like, this all sounds pretty amazing, but I'm sure there are some concerns too, right?
Oh, absolutely. One of the biggest concerns with AI is bias.
Oh, right, because AI algorithms learn from data.
Right. And if that data reflects existing biases in society, the AI can end up perpetuating those biases in its output.
Okay, I can see how that would be a problem. So, like, let's say an AI is trained on historical crime data that already has racial bias baked into it.
Exactly. That could lead to biased crime reporting in the future. It's a real worry.
Wow. Yeah, that's a scary thought. So it's not just about the technology itself, but also about who's designing it and what data they're using to train it.
You hit the nail on the head. We need to be aware of the data that's feeding these algorithms. Where did it come from? What biases might be baked into it? How can we mitigate those biases to ensure AI-powered journalism is fair and accurate? It's an ongoing process, really.
You know, it's like that old saying, garbage in, garbage out. Even with the best intentions, if the data is flawed, the results will be too.
Exactly. And that's why transparency is so important. We need to know what data is being used to train these algorithms. We need to be able to audit them, make sure they're not perpetuating harmful biases. It's an ongoing process of refining and improving these systems as we learn more.
It sounds like we've covered a lot of ground here, the exciting possibilities of AI in journalism, but also some of the ethical challenges. It's clear that AI is a powerful tool, but it needs to be used responsibly.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And as we move forward, it's important to remember, this isn't just about how journalists use AI. It's about how you, as a news consumer, interact with it.
You're right. As AI becomes more and more a part of the news, it's like more important than ever to be a critical consumer of information. But before we get into all that, let's make a look at some real-world examples of how AI is already being used in newsrooms today.
So, ready to dive into some real-world examples of AI in action?
Absolutely. You know, it's one thing to talk about algorithms and data, but I'm really curious to see how this stuff is actually being used in newsrooms.
Well, for starters, remember we talked about the Washington Post's Heliograph?
Oh, yeah, the AI that can write articles.
That's the one. It's been used for all sorts of things, covering local elections, even high school football games.
Wait, it's writing articles about sports now.
Yep. It can crank out those game summaries, all the stats.
So is it like a robot sports commentator?
Not exactly a commentator, but it's like having a whole team of reporters that, never get tired.
And never miss a deadline.
Exactly. But it gets even cooler. Heliograph can actually personalize those articles. Like, you could have a version for fans in a specific region.
Yeah, wow.
Or people who are, really interested in certain players.
So even in automated journalism, there's room for that, like personalized touch.
Definitely. It's all about making the news more relevant to the reader.
That's pretty awesome. What other cool AI tools are out there?
Well, Reuters uses something called Lynx Insights. This one's more about, sniffing out potential news stories.
Sniffing them out.
Yeah. It analyzes massive data sets, looking for trends and patterns that might point to a bigger story.
So it's like an AI tipster then, like giving journalists a heads up on what to investigate.
Exactly. It can connect the dots in ways that would take humans, forever.
Especially with those really complex stories where there's just so much data to sift through.
Right. And that brings us back to that idea of AI augmenting human capabilities.
Not replacing them.
Right. It's about giving journalists superpowers.
I like the sound of that. Any other examples like that?
Oh, definitely. The Associated Press uses AI to automate those earnings reports that companies put out.
You mean those financial announcements?
Yeah, those. They're super important, but also kind of,
Dry?
Exactly. And AI is great at handling that kind of stuff. Lots of numbers. Needs to be super accurate.
So no more late nights for financial reporters crunching numbers.
Well, hopefully. And because the AI takes care of the grunt work, human reporters can focus on the more interesting stuff.
Like, what's the story behind the number?
Exactly. Analyzing trends, providing context, that's where humans really shine.
You know, these examples are really showing me how AI is already changing the game in journalism.
It's definitely a game changer.
It's helping journalists be more efficient, cover more ground, maybe even uncover stories that they would have missed otherwise.
Absolutely. And as AI technology keeps evolving, I think we're going to see even more creative applications in journalism.
That's exciting. But, we can't forget about those ethical considerations we talked about earlier.
Oh, definitely not. The potential for bias, the impact on jobs, Those are real concerns. We can't get so caught up in the cool new tech that we forget about the bigger picture.
Exactly. And as AI gets more sophisticated, these issues are only going to get, well, more complicated.
Yeah, it's not getting any simpler.
Right. It's going to take a lot of careful thought and open discussion. And not just among journalists, but, ethicists, technologists.
Everyone needs to be involved.
Absolutely. And that includes you, the news consumer.
Oh, right. It's easy to forget that we all have a role to play in this.
As AI becomes more part of the news, it's more important than ever to be a critical, discerning consumer.
So it's like we need to level up our media literacy skills to keep pace with AI's evolution.
Exactly. You wouldn't just blindly trust everything you see on the internet.
Oh, no.
You'd probably check the source, look for other perspectives, use your judgment.
See if it passes the smell test.
Exactly. The same principles apply to news in the age of AI. Okay, so I need to be more proactive about, seeking out different viewpoints, questioning the information I'm getting, even if it's tailored to my interest.
Precisely. Don't just passively absorb what's presented to you. Dig a little deeper. Ask yourself, who created this? What's their agenda? Are there other perspectives I'm missing?
Okay, so it's a two-way street. Journalists need to be responsible in how they use AI, and we, as news consumers, need to be more critical and engaged.
That's the key takeaway, I think.
But what does all this mean for the future of journalism? Are we headed towards a world where, robot journalists take over completely and, human journalists are out of a job?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
As AI keeps evolving, how will our relationship with news continue to change?
Are we all going to be getting our news from, robots?
I don't think so. AI can automate certain tasks for sure.
Right.
But I believe human journalists will always have a crucial role to play.
Okay, but why? What can humans do that AI can't replicate?
Humans bring empathy, creativity, critical thinking. We can connect with sources on an emotional level, craft narratives, provide context and analysis. Those are things that AI, at least for now, can't really do.
So even in a world where AI is generating news, there's still a need for that human touch.
Absolutely. In
Yeah.
fact, I think AI can actually free up human journalists to focus on those very things, the in-depth reporting, the nuanced storytelling, the human-centered stuff that really makes a difference.
So it's not about AI versus humans, but AI and humans working together.
Exactly. The future of journalism is about finding that sweet spot, the balance between AI capabilities and human insight.
That's a hopeful perspective. It sounds like we're on the cusp of a really exciting time for journalism.
I think so too. And as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I'm left with a lot of optimism, but also a sense of responsibility.
Me too, for sure. We've talked about the incredible potential of AI, but also, the importance of using it ethically and responsibly.
Right. And as we move into this new era of AI-powered journalism, it's going to be so important to keep those ethical considerations, front and center.
So where do we go from here? What's next?
Well, that's what we're going to explore in our final segment. We'll leave you with some key takeaways and some thought-provoking questions to consider.
Sounds good to me. Stay tuned, everyone, for the final part of our deep dive into AI and journalism.
Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into AI in journalism. We've covered a lot of ground, haven't we?
We have. From uncovering hidden stories to personalized news feeds and even AI writing articles. It's amazing to see how this technology is reshaping the way we produce and consume news.
It really is. I started this deep dive with a lot of questions and honestly some concerns, but I'm feeling pretty optimistic now.
I get that. It's easy to get caught up in the fear of robots taking over.
Right.
Yeah.
But hearing about all these real-world examples and how journalists are actually using AI.
It's pretty exciting. It is. It seems like it's going to push journalism to evolve in some really cool ways.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And remember, it's all about finding that balance, using AI to, enhance what human journalists do best.
Not replace them.
Exactly. It's about collaboration,
Yeah.
ultimately.
So as we wrap up here, what's the one big takeaway you want to leave our listener with?
Well, I think the most important thing is to remember that AI is a tool. And like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad.
Right. It all depends on how we use it.
Exactly. The future of journalism really hinges on how we choose to wield this power. That means journalists need to be, really thoughtful about how they integrate AI into their work.
And news consumers need to be super critical about the information they're consuming.
Absolutely. It's a two-way street. And as AI continues to evolve, we need to keep asking ourselves,
A tough question.
The tough questions. How can we use this technology to strengthen journalism?
Not weaken it.
Exactly. How can we make sure it's serving the public good? Those are the things we need to keep in mind moving forward.
It's a good reminder that this isn't like a one and done conversation. AI is constantly changing.
It is. It's moving so fast.
So we need to stay engaged, keep learning.
Absolutely. The more you understand about how AI works, how it's being used in journalism, the better equipped you'll be to, navigate this changing landscape.
So for our listener out there, the one who's been really digging into this topic, what's something they can do today to become a more, informed and discerning news consumer?
Okay, here's a little challenge. Next time you're reading a news article online, take a moment to think about how AI might have played a role in its creation. Did it help the journalist gather information? Was it used to personalize the content for you?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Right, it's like becoming an AI detective. Just being a little more aware of the forces behind the news you're reading.
I like it. And as we start to pay attention, maybe we'll be surprised by just how much AI is actually being used out there.
I think you will. It's not always obvious.
So the big takeaway here is stay curious, keep learning, and don't be afraid to ask questions.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, it's been a fascinating deep dive.
It has. I always learn something new when we talk about AI.
Me too. And hopefully our listeners did as well. So until next time, everyone, stay informed and stay engaged.